All Pokemons just seem like the weirdest characters ever, so you just never really expect them to actually exist in real life. But something not a lot of people seem to know is that most Pokemon are based on real-life creatures and how they act. So in this video, we're gonna take a look at 10 Pokemon that actually exist in real life. Number 10. Magikarp. Magikarp is probably the most useless Pokemon ever, since the only move it can do is splash, and that doesn't even do anything against the opponent. Magikarp is based on a fish called Yellow Eye Rockfish, and it's pretty useless too. But what more can fish do even than just splash around anyway? Yellow Eye Rockfish look exactly like Magikarp. They have the same color, big eyes, and fins. But they do have one pretty big difference. These rockfish are actually very rare and extremely difficult to find because of their low population. Magikarp, on the other hand, is everywhere. On top of that, yellow eye rockfish are basically sought-after fish because of how rare they are. Just about every fisherman has tried to find these guys. But most Pokemon players dread every time they see the Magikarp because it's all over the map. Number 9. Charmander. Charmander is probably one of the most liked Pokemon ever. It was also one of Ash's most trusted Pokemon even after he saved its life. Charmander doesn't really look like any animal in particular, but this Pokemon is based on a lizard called Eastern Newt. When you start thinking about it, you realize just how much Charmander looks like a lizard. The Eastern Newt also has the same orange color that Charmander has, and even the same facial structure. The two look basically the same. The only real difference seems to be the lack of fire on the actual lizard's tail. These lizards are also usually around rocks, trees, or moss, and Ash found Charmander on a rock. Go figure. Number 8. Wooper. Everyone loves Wooper because of its kind and innocent nature. Plus, it also looks adorable, so it's hard to not love the Pokemon. But Wooper is one of these Pokemon that literally looks like an alien, so you wouldn't really expect an animal that looks basically identical to the Pokemon. Wooper is based on axolotls. These guys look just like the Pokemon that it's crazy. The only difference between the two is that the axolotl is a pinkish color, while Wooper is blue. Unfortunately, these amphibians are actually getting extremely rare and basically vanishing in the wild because of fishing and the pollution in the ocean. So we probably won't be able to catch any of these guys anytime soon. Number 7. Caterpie. Out of all the Pokemon, it's very obvious what insect Caterpie is supposed to be. Not only does the Pokemon look like the insect, but the name is a dead giveaway. Caterpies are based on caterpillars, but specifically swallowtail caterpillars. These caterpillars have the exact same features as a Caterpie, from the eyes, the body, to the mouth. There's literally no difference other than the fact that one is a Pokemon and the other is a actual creature. What's interesting about swallowtail caterpillars is that their big eyes are actually fake. Like, they are literally false eyes that exist just to look bigger and scare away other creatures. These caterpillars are also vicious leaf eaters, which would explain Caterpie's insane appetite as well. Number 6. Kabuto. Kabuto is one of the oldest Pokemon in the Pokemon world, 800 million years old to be exact. The only way you can get one is by resurrecting it from the dome fossil. Although you can also find some other ones that have never changed, those are practically impossible to actually find unless you're some kind of pro. Kabuto is based on horseshoe crabs. Other than the resemblance the two have, they also have existed for a very long time. Plus, there are also fossilized horseshoe crabs, which seem to be the inspiration for the whole dome fossil thing in the games. Number 5. Vileplume. Pokemon just don't have to be either insects or animals. They can be plants too, just like the Vileplume. At first, this Pokemon looks kinda like a flower, but also like a really weird mushroom-looking thing. The whole Pokemon just looks like one big mess, and that's because the plant it's based on just looks like that too. Vileplume is supposed to be the Rafflesia arnoldi, which is actually the biggest flower in the world. Even though you'd expect flowers to be really pretty, this one is anything but. Not only is it hideous, but it also has a really bad smell to it. Like, people literally say it smells like rotten food. The Pokemon is a poison type and also has a terrible smell, which was probably taken from the real thing. Visually, we have to say while the Pokemon looks really strange, it's still way better than what the actual plant looks like. Number 4. Love Disc. Love Disc is supposed to symbolize love with its heart shape, and it follows around a couple of spots near the ocean. Love Disc also kiss each other with their lips, which seems a little weird but looks cute in the show. Believe it or not, the actual fish exists in real life, and it's called the pink kissing gourami. The fish in Pokemon don't really look that similar other than the pink color and the lips. However, these fish actually kiss each other just like they do in the show, which makes it pretty obvious that this was the inspiration for the Pokemon. Their lips are really big, and it's the very first thing you notice about the fish. It's also the same for Love Disc because they have the same big lips as the real deal. These fish are also a symbol of love in some cultures, just like the Love Disc are in the show, which is actually pretty cool. Number 3. Dialga. Dialga is one of the new Pokemon introduced in the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl series. It's also the only Pokemon ever that's Dragon and Steel based. This Pokemon even knows the roar of time naturally, so it's really a gem. It looks like something out of a fantasy. No one would expect this Pokemon to be a real animal. The Pokemon looks just like it's a dragon. Plus, what animal is blue and white? That just seems unrealistic. But the animal exists and is called the Glaucus atlanticus. Both of them have the same white and blue colors with spikes all over the body and a super long tail. Some people even call the Glaucus atlanticus the blue dragon. So there's no way it's just a coincidence that the two look exactly the same. Number 2. Leavanny. For the longest time, everyone thought Leavanny was a praying mantis because of how it looked like at first. But surprisingly enough, it's not actually a mantis. Leavanny is based on a leaf insect. You might not have heard of this insect because it's literally in camouflage, but it basically looks like a leaf. If you saw it outdoors, you'd probably think it's just a moving leaf. These leaf insects have evolved this way after centuries so they could bamboozle their predators into thinking they're just a pile of leaves. But the moment they turn away, the leaf insect throws away the act and starts acting like a regular old bug. When you look at the insect and the Pokemon, you probably see the huge resemblance the two have. Everyone's been confused on what animal Leavanny really was, and now we finally have our answer. Number 1. Ekans. Ekans was Jesse's first partner on Team Rocket, and just about everyone knows it because of that. The Pokemon is famous because of the scary glare that it can use to attack others. It's pretty obvious that Ekans is supposed to be a snake. Also, if they couldn't make it any more obvious, its name is literally Snake spelled backwards. While the Pokemon is based on a snake, it's more specifically based on the Eastern Indigo. This snake has the same purple tinge as the Pokemon. Although the color of the snake can differ depending on the lighting of the area, considering just how scary Ekans looks, it's not that surprising that he's based on a snake. Alright, which of these Pokemon surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to TRENDJOINT, and we'll see you in the next one.